Change requires change. If you want to achieve a different result, you need to do things differently. And yep, yep. Sup, I'm Ellie and welcome to the channel. Today's video is another reflection video. It is the 20th video in the 100 week challenge and totally hit a blank. It's the 20th video in the 100 week challenge, the second reflection video, and I am almost a quarter of the way through. That's what I wanted to say. Firstly, I'm going to break this video up into two parts. What I've learned in terms of the challenge and some of the things I've been experiencing with regards to my art. And spoiler, can you say self-sabotage? Because I think I hit that one pretty hard, kicking this challenge off. But I'll get into that. Let me just say, first up, in my first reflection video, I feel I came across very confident and I was still very much in the honeymoon phase of what is happening here. Now that all that is worn off and I'm kind of in the real world of what I'm doing here, pretty much everything from that reflection video has been challenged. Well, for quick clarity, and this is for transparency, not for sympathy or pity. Over the last 10 videos, I experienced a type of energetic depression. Got sick with the flu, hit burnout, realized I was self-sabotaging, or at least I think that's what that was, and momentarily lost confidence in my artistic skills, as well as living dangerously on the edge when it comes to my consistency and momentum. Because I thought I had fallen dangerously behind with my schedule just to find that I was actually ahead, and then realizing later on that I was in fact behind. And well, have been playing catch up ever since. As a result, I've had absolutely no motivation, felt emotionally numb and energetically drained. And yes, briefly contemplated whether or not giving up is a viable option. It wasn't, it isn't, and I won't. Because I've come too far. I've done too much and I know too much. It would have been a regrettable easy. So certainly challenged but not defeated, and that's because the challenge is doing exactly what it's supposed to. That's the thing about this challenge. You're going against everything that is ingrained in you. And it's been tough because it's not an easy task to fully shift into the new. But then no one said it was going to be easy. And it's important for me to document the process of the challenge because for me, that's the key. The going against what is ingrained in us. Routine, structure, momentum, consistency, discipline. These are things that come naturally to some people. For others, it's achieved with some difficulty, if at all. Some might start strong and then completely dwindle off the plot when things get tough or dull or boring. These are invaluable life skills for someone like me. Because as much as I love a to-do list and routine, I also really fucking hate it. I've adopted these tools because success says, obsess over your goals, commit. Obsessing and commitment is easy. I can do that without even trying. Sticking to it consistently is another story. So I've adopted the tools to hold myself accountable, to see it through, and to create freedom in all the different areas of my life so that I can do all the things that I want to do while maintaining balance, or rather trying to. But I hate it so much because it requires micromanagement and so much control over myself and my daily doings. Not because I need control or because I am controlling. And for clarity, nor do I push this control on anyone else. I do it to myself because I am that committed to this endeavor. And that's the sacrifice because it's the exception to who I am. and it's been kind of exhausting, so I put myself through it, right? The thing is, I love my family. I love being a mom, and I show up for them at every corner, and I always will. But I cannot resign myself to being a housewife. And sure, just getting a job might be easier, but I absolutely cannot imagine a life in which I am not pursuing my purpose. This is my oxygen mask when the plane goes down. It's my parachute. It's how I fill my cup. So here I am, fighting against myself every day, until the new is so ingrained in me it feels natural and automatic. I'm still doing the thing in spite of that, and I hold on to this phrase: we are what we do repeatedly, right? This has been my saving grace. But I feel like I was so excited and so eager to jump into the to-do list of my brain that lesson needed to be learned, check. Another lesson needed to be learned, check. Needed to take the first steps, check. With all of that came confidence, yes. But long term, this type of thing is not linear, right? These experiences do challenge us, and it has, properly. And I'm certain it will challenge me even more going forward. That said, I don't think that I would have been able to do what I just did at this moment in time. I don't think I would have been able to push through had I not had the backup of this challenge, the prep period, everything I've done and learned so far, the building trust with myself and all of that in the end remained. It was there in me, which is why I didn't quit. I got sidetracked by that sneaky self-sabotage because it crept in very early on. It was completely unnoticeable right until I noticed it. My niche is character design, okay? Character portraits and character design is what I do, it's what I love, it's what I'm good at. It is the thing that I want to develop in, with the exception of a little bit of exploration here and there, other things that I want to learn and so on. But I flipped the script and made the exploration the main event and the niche the like side chick, right? And that was like taking a baseball bat to my confidence. I should be doing my niche. That was the intended plan, but instead I did absolutely everything I do not know how to do and ran with it. At about week 14, I reflected on some of what I've been posting, mainly in the shorts, which is like snippets of the art I've been doing on the long films. And it was just like, what the heck are you doing? This is not your niche. It doesn't reflect what you're good at, what you're passionate about, what you love doing, or what you want to develop. It's just pretty bad art. And I don't know why I did that, but I'm pretty sure that's self-sabotage. That's what I'm putting it down to. I can't find another reason for it. But the good news is that realization has created a pivot, and I've been back in the character design and loving it. And then there's the watercolors. So as I mentioned in one of my past videos, I don't know if it was the last one, but I took up watercolors to be able to get through the rendering a little bit easier, a little bit quicker, because coloring pencils and graphite take so much time, okay? And it's been years now. I've done the tutorials, I've practiced, I've dedicated myself to it, and I still can't get this medium right, at least not in the way I am trying to use it, and I can't wrap my brain around trying to use it any other way. I think a lot of times when people say they're giving up on something, there's a negative annotation, but it can also be strength, right? Or at least realizing your strengths and knowing the direction you want to go in. And me giving up on watercolors, or at least being as dedicated to it as I have been, is me stepping into that space. Another thing I also just want to talk about is the pressure of making videos, right? And I think this is something that a lot of creators struggle with. In a moment. I think it's something that a lot of creators struggle with, but I can only speak. But I can only speak for myself, and so it is something that I struggle with. I put a hell of a lot of pressure on myself when making videos, but I do realize that it's a process, right? And to honor that process, I have changed my thumbnail to reflect what my channel is right now. And I think that that was a big moment in these past 10 weeks as well. Other than that, before starting the channel, I drew regularly, but not as much as I do now. And the more I draw and the more I make art, and as much as I want to explore with acrylics and oil painting, I am realizing that at my core, I am a drawing artist, not a painter. Graphite, as I've said so many times before, is my superpower. And the more I participate in Inktober this year, the more I'm realizing I'm really enjoying the process of drawing with ink. And I will definitely explore this medium more, even beyond Inktober. And what I'm doing in this video is finishing off the last of the character portraits I started a while ago, which was meant to form part of a 10-part series on TikTok. Overall, I'm happy with the results, but at some point this project became extremely tedious and extremely draining, a familiar feeling I've experienced with past series-based projects. And so I'm also learning what I don't like. For me, a big series like this becomes tedious. And now I know that, so I won't participate in this kind of thing again, not easily. And the frustration that went into this could be turned into creativity and excitement for other projects. All these little realizations could only be possible mid-process. I couldn't think my way into knowing what I like or don't like. That's something that can only come with experience. And this is another thing about this challenge that I'm really appreciating. In terms of some of the character work I've been doing and Inktober, a couple things are coming up. I am enjoying the process again. I am excited about my art and I can see development. But more than anything, I value my art, which has kind of been a problem as well throughout this process. Because as much as I have been consistent and showed up for Ellie Online, it's been hard for me to prioritize Ellie Online over some of my other projects. My accountability partner suggested that this could be because I'm struggling to find value in my art, and I couldn't agree more, especially in light of what I had been creating before getting back into the character work. And since getting back into the character work, being so much happier with the results of what I'm creating and enjoying the process so much more. And I can see that the value is showing up because I am now taking steps and making decisions that prioritizes Ellie Online over some of the other projects. So overall, a rough 10 videos, but what has come away from these last 10 weeks is invaluable. And the trust I have in myself and what I'm doing is reinforced just so much more. Previously, quitting may have looked like this. The intensity of the overwhelm would have led to me depleting my buffer. The pressure of having the next video ready would have been so heavy, I would have given myself permission to let it slide. To bury the guilt and disappointment of that, I would have poured myself into other projects, submitted myself to those projects as a distraction, and be too busy to circle back to early online and use that as the excuse for its downfall. And while I can admit that I have been running on bare minimum, I have been showing up. Falling behind on my buffer was accidental, and I've been working non-stop to replenish it. And that tells me that this challenge has already made valuable changes in me. But here are the character portraits. Unfortunately, I accidentally destroyed Hulk Hogan's paper, and so he will not be featured. But everyone else did. On Ozzy Osbourne and Cruella de Vil, I added blue to the hair to add extra depth, something I saw in one of Jazza's videos. It worked really well on Cruella's hair, not that great on Ozzy's hair because the paper lifted in certain parts, and so in those areas there's more blue than black. But it works, it's good enough. I was ready to be done with this project. But their hair compared to Morticia's pitch black hair, where I added no blue. What an incredible difference. Thank you, Jazza. That is it. Let me know in the comments what you think. What are your thoughts? Have you ever had a brush with self-sabotage? If you have, tell me about it. What happened? When did you realize? How did you realize? What was the impact? And how did you turn back from that? Let me know.